In this quick video guide, we are going to see how we can export an architecture 3D model from our 3D software that we use into Twinmotion for rendering and applying materials, using lights, and so on. So this one here is a model that I created in the 3D architecture video course in Blender. So I use Blender because it's open source. You can get it for free and you can do the exact same things. But you can use, of course, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, or whatever you use usually. And you can see here that I prepared this scene, and I want to tell you about the most important things you need to check. So the first thing you need to check is that everything it's actually a mesh. So these are polygonal models with polygons. They're not like NURBS or arrays or things like that. So you want to make sure that you have actual mesh geometry. You can see it in Blender because you have this icon here, this little triangle. Or if you want to make sure, you can also like convert everything. Make sure you convert everything into a mesh. So if you're not sure, you just right click and do convert to mesh. You can do it also for everything. So that's the first thing. So make sure that your geometry is solid and it's not like another type of geometry or another type of 3D model. The other issue are the materials. Now, materials can be exported together with the object, and I'm going to show you how. So if you choose a precise format, you can do that. So you want to make sure that the mapping also it's okay. So it's well scaled and or size. It has a good size, and you want to apply like the same material over and over. So if you have like two different curtain walls, two different windows, you want to add the same glass, the same frame material like the steel or the concrete and so on, or the wood. So try to use the same material on the various parts of the scene that are similar, so that when you gonna import in Twinmotion, you can use that to your own advantage. And again, I'm gonna show you how and also why you probably want to do that. Now this one here, the base, I think it doesn't have correct UV mapping. So mapping, it's really important, but in architecture we can like find a solution also in Twinmotion, but make sure that not only your materials and textures are okay, but also the mapping. So everything needs to be correctly mapped. Otherwise, it could give problems in Twinmotion, but I'm going to show you how to solve it. Okay, we are ready. Let's go to File, Export, and let's export. You can choose FBX, OBJ. There are like really popular formats in here, but I'm going to use, you can also use DXF if you use like AutoCAD 3D or Revit or other Autodesk products. But I'm going to use GLTF or GLB. Now, this is a very versatile format that I always find it to work correctly, especially in Blender. So I'm going to export it here in this folder. Now, before we hit on export, we want to check the format. We're going to leave GLB. We want to see if we want to select some objects or export the entire scene. And in the mesh, one thing that it's really important is UVs, normals, or that stuff, but also apply modifiers. This is really important because everything that is like generative object in Blender is going to be converted into actual mesh. Now you can do it by just applying that and see if it works. If it doesn't, you need to convert into mesh. And here the materials also, we want to export materials. We want the quality the best if possible. And also what else we need, not animation. So I'm gonna check that, and all that stuff we don't really need it. So before we leave, just I want to show you that if you want to convert everything, let's select all first and then right click, convert into mesh. So you make sure that everything that it's in your scene is not like NURBS, is not an array, is not a proxy, but that's actual geometry. So apply modifiers, either you apply modifiers or you convert into mesh. And now let's export. Now we are in Twinmotion. This is the base scene. So I'm gonna just delete the starting base folder, leaving an empty space here where I can insert my architecture. So I'm gonna go to import, click or here, or click on the import tab, click on the plus button, and you can select geometry. If you have a connection directly to your 3D software, you can use direct link. So if you have like 3ds Max or other software, you can work together and simultaneously. But right now we're just going to embed the geometry using the geometry import, and let's choose the file that we saved. And so this is going to be BGLTF. And you can check also the other formats available when you import here in Twinmotion. Now, two things important: full precision UV, full precision normals. We want definitely meshes and nothing else. And here, this is the collapse. Now, these are important options. So if you leave keep hierarchy, it's going to bring the model with all the single pieces. So each window, each door, each wall are going to be entirely separated. So this is good if you want like to move them, rotate them, if you want to like transform a little bit your model. But if you want to work just with materials, lights, and visualization, architectural visualization, ArcViz, it probably is best to use collapse by material because it's going to be faster. So you can just drag and drop another material that's going to like change the original one. And then you can also collapse all, which means it's going to take all the different little pieces and it's going to just join everything together into one single 3D object, but with different materials. So you can still access the materials, you can see materials and change them, edit them, and so on. So I think that for ArcViz, the best option is collapse by material because I don't want to work in Twinmotion, like modeling and creating the architecture. I want to create it in another software, and then I want to change here just the materials, the lights. I want to add some assets and enrich the scene, make it look more realistic, more live, and things like that. So this is why Twinmotion is really important. And you can find a video course in Twinmotion in the channel. You will find demo lessons. So they will be fine if you want to like start to use Twinmotion. And also you will find Blender and also 3D architecture in Blender, which is the course where I developed this scene right here. So let me just move back a little bit. And of course, about the navigation, about everything, just check the first lessons in the Twinmotion video course. Here, what I'm gonna do is just show you the mapping issue in here. You can see the base. Now, everything else looks pretty fine. We can definitely adjust the size of the texture. We can change the texture, but if you click and drag here, something is not good. There is something wrong with the mapping. So geometry is important. It needs to be mesh. Materials are important, and you can see now that they are visible, but also mapping is important. You can click there, you can change it from box mapping to cube mapping, and now it should work. So just click and drag, wait for a few seconds, and there you go. Now it works. Now, sometimes you need to switch to cubic and then back to the object UV, and then it's gonna work. Other times it doesn't, so usually this will be adjusted like automatically, and now you can see it works. Now everything is perfectly mapped, so I can use my UV map or I can use my box mapping, and I can also drag and drop other materials real quick to other part of the scene. There you go. So it's a really quick process in Twinmotion. Everything is really simple and fast, and the difficulty is at the minimum for in order that everyone can use it. And so it's a really wonderful software that I think you should try. And now you can see here that this is the real-time render. We can move around, but if you want better quality, we can press on the path tracer. And if your GPU is powerful enough, everything here in the rendering stands on the GPU. And we can change the time of the day. We can make this night scene. Well, we have no lights, so we should now work with lights and all sorts of things. But again, that's explained in the Twinmotion video course. Well, we can change quickly the time of the day. We can also work with backgrounds like HDRIs and enrich more the background. But again, I'm going fast with this quick video guide. I don't want to put too many things in it, but just to show you how quickly you can also add assets from the library and you can make things a little bit more interesting. So you can add characters, vegetation, trees, you can add objects, furniture, and you can add cars, vehicles, and all sorts of things. And little by little, you will build up your render. So this will be all for this video guide. Please join the channel as a supporter if you want to support us, if you want to thank us, or just subscribe to stay updated for other video guides and video courses on 3D architecture architectural visualization, and rendering, and so on. So again, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video guide.